Okay, this is my second day of journaling using YouTube to help me build the life that I want to build by connecting with people that can actually give me some resources or ideas or connections that can move the needle. So I guess I'll talk a little bit about my background kind of quickly here so that we can get into where I'm at in this moment because that's the whole reason. I travel full time. I house sit for people. I struggle with the work that I have, which is virtual, but I hate it because it's sales. I want to lean into my vocal performance coupled with my ukulele playing as I write songs, and I'm struggling to launch basically. So I'll give you a recap of my day today. I've been applying for jobs. I found one that's marine related. So if we are traveling full time, seasonal work, there's actually a lot of marine work that is seasonal. So in the summer, you're up north. In the winter, you're down south, working in marinas, that kind of thing. It actually aligns pretty well with our lifestyle, and I'm glad that we stumbled upon it. And it looks like it could definitely keep us traveling full time, even if it looks like we are maybe renting out furnished places on a temporary basis instead of using our house sitting platforms that we like to use, or some kind of combination of that. It just depends on what's available, what's listed. Obviously, price is always a factor for us because that's how we house hack, but that's how we hack life basically is by limiting the amount of cost that we spend on our biggest expense with this, which is housing. Which honestly now it's not housing because we don't pay for it, which is huge. So that's where I think finding my dream, which is I already have the idea, I already have the dream. It's I guess it's becoming rich and famous. I don't know. Because of from singing, I don't have to be famous, but if you're going to be a performer, a well-known one, then I guess it's inevitable that you become famous. But it would be through playing the ukulele, singing. I'm still open, really open to the idea of putting a band together. Basically, I know it kind of feels cliche, but there's something there. There's a whole reason why people really come alive when exposed to music, and I think it's innate in a lot of people, and some people it doesn't, and that's okay. It's if your calling is you know math or whatever, science, that's amazing. I mean, you're in huge high demand. Um, I also heard somebody say this relatively recently, and it really struck me and stuck with me in that. Oh man, I'm not used to talking this much. There are so many people that are accessing online. I mean, millions of people getting access to the internet. You can just be you. You can just be your authentic self. And there's going to be enough people out there that find you, your lifestyle, your goals, your dreams attractive enough that that can be your niche. I would love to find something like that. I would love to have that community with enough diehard, dedicated people that just really enjoy what I produce and want to see more of it, that I can make a living off of that. And that I think that was the second part of this whole saying. I need to learn how to breathe when I'm talking. I don't take deep breaths. Breathe, man. Um, is that you only need like 10,000 like people. You don't need that many people. Not even that. I think no. I'm sorry. I think you only need like 1,000 people. It depends on what it is that you're selling or what service it is that you're offering, but it's basically just a numbers game. So if you can reach enough people, then that kind of funnels down to your core group. So that's where it's like getting on social media and obviously posting 20 minutes a day for the next 90 days on YouTube is the goal. I don't know why. Taking deep breaths. is to start that social media presence basically, and try to reach an audience that just likes me for who I am, and the songs that I make enough to um I just want to make ends meet. I just want to pay my bills, at the end of the day. So, um that's my goal. Um I don't even It's a very wide stated goal, but I have faith that um, there'll be the right person out there that hears this message and is curious about how I sing, what type of ukulele music I play. I write all my stuff. I was just telling my wife today, like, I'm up to 10 songs, which is really exciting. I started playing the ukulele like 18 months ago, and it's so much fun to do, and it just really aligns with our lifestyle. So, um, what I have been doing before I go to bed, as I've been listening to this book, it's called The Gap in the Gain, and one of the things that they tell you to do before you go to bed every night is first put your phone down like a half hour, or even better, an hour before you go to bed. And honestly, I've they say you never lose. You either win or you learn. And that's what I'm trying to take away from this past 2 years, because these past 2 years feel like I it feels like a loss because I wasn't as productive as I wanted to be. However, reframed with this gap in the game kind of mindset, this gain mindset that I'm trying to adapt, is you have the luxury of telling your own history. So I'm going to choose to frame the past 2 years of scrolling on YouTube until 1 in the morning, like every night, for, starting at 10 o'clock at night. Whereas I could have just been sleeping and letting my brain do this amazing thing, getting myself ready for the next productive day. I'm going to say I learned. I'm going to choose to tell my history, and that was a learning experience, and that I'm going to move forward from there. Because without that experience, the timing wouldn't have been right. That's the other thing. You're exactly where you're supposed to be when you're there. You're in it, you're living it. You couldn't get here any sooner, and you're not late either. And that's hard to believe. But if you subscribe to the idea that you stop looking for meaning when you start creating your own meaning, then you are always supposed to be where you are right now in time. You're not late. You're also not early, because you can't be. All we can do now is do the next best right thing that you think it is, based on what you've already learned. No losses, only wins and opportunities to learn. And that's fine. That's what we're doing. We're learning every day. We're striving to improve our bedtime habits. So, what they recommend is phone down 30 minutes before bed. An hour if you can do it. Get a journal, just gonna be a piece of paper, and write down 3 wins for your day. Then turn off the light and go to sleep. But before you fall asleep, ask the universe for one thing that you want tomorrow, and go to bed. Go to sleep. And it's going to take you 20 minutes to fall asleep. It's okay. Just no phones. Just go to bed. And I'm trying so hard to learn that lesson, because I have habituated scrolling social like so many of us do. It's a plague. I mean, it literally reminds me, somebody said this the other day, it reminds me of smoking. You know how you heard about smoking, like our grandparents, everybody smoked. Our parents smoked, our grandparents smoked, their parents smoked, and then they finally figured out, like, hey, this smoking thing is killing us. We need to set age limits on it. And really, it actually is like a societal cultural shift. Nobody smokes anymore because it's so obvious how bad it is for us. Um, Eventually that's probably the way that consuming too much social media without parameters will be. It would be like eating nothing but chocolate, or which doesn't sound too bad. But anyway, all right, this is my journal. So what do I want to talk about? I've got 10 and a half more minutes, 9.5 more minutes if I'm going for 20. This is my daily practice. This is where I get all the thoughts that have been swirling around in my head out of my head for this day. So I will say that today did not feel as flow state as yesterday, but that's fine. It doesn't. Every day is different. Your body is different. This is one thing that I've started really enjoying doing, and I'm not preaching to anybody. I'm literally just talking out loud here. Is yoga. Yoga has created the physical space within my body to allow the mental space to emerge. And that might sound weird, but until you actually try it, it is like my dad, I remember this about him. I thought it was so funny. This was like I'd gone to college, and I don't know, he was probably in his late 40s, early 50s. And he started this routine in the morning. He would wake up and he would go to my brother's room. We'd both moved out at this point, and he had turned my brother's room into basically a yoga studio, which was so funny to me because this was a man who blue collared, a little rough around the edges, and I come home, I wake up the next morning, and there he is. He's in his skivvies, his boxer briefs, in my brother's room. There's no furniture in the room anymore. And he's like stretching, and I'm like, man, that's different. And didn't think anything of it. But since I've passed my mid-30s, I have really discovered the value of like elongating the muscles in my body, like stretching them, because there's so much in our life that compacts us. I think with age, it's just pure gravity, but like our work compresses us, our driving compresses us, the heaviness of life compresses us. And this 20 or 30 minutes of yoga, I'll tell you who I use. I use a yoga with Cassandra. She's amazing. Cassandra, I love your stuff if you happen upon my YouTube videos. I stretch with you every day. Sometimes it's in the morning, sometimes it's in the evening, sometimes it's middle of the day. I think your stuff is phenomenal. Check her out. She's got probably hundreds of YouTube yoga stretching videos at this point. The reason I like her so much is because it's most of the stuff, not all of her stuff, but a lot of her stuff is just gentle. And I find myself when I'm at the gym, I'm not trying to preach here, I'm just talking out loud because this is what goes in my head. These are things that go around and around in my brain of like where I'm at. I'm like, I'm so, trying to be in the gain. I'm so grateful for Cassandra. But I'll find myself at the gym, like a place where you're typically contracting muscles or whatever. And I'm like stretching, like I'm like doing all, and I've got like long legs, I've got long arms, I'm kind of goofy to look at. And I can only imagine what like the other fellow gym members are thinking. They probably don't care. That's the other thing. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. And that's like, you have to get over that. And that was, God, man, when YouTube was becoming a thing, the social media was becoming a thing, I could have been primed. I could have been in just an absolute banger of a position to blow up, to really make a whole career out of it. I didn't have much interest. I didn't have hardly any knowledge about it. So if you don't have much knowledge about it and you don't explore it, then you're not really going to grow much interest. So I have to let that go. And that, honestly, that one was for me. That one was just for me. I had to say it. You try not to get down about missed opportunities, but everybody has missed opportunities, so everyone. whether it's investing or career or somebody you love. But so I was scared, thinking about what other people would think of me. And even if I get 1,000 dedicated followers who love hearing about my daily journaling or my life that I talk about through this journaling, or even if I decide to post my ukulele songs and me singing it, they care enough as to just derive some entertainment from it. And that's wonderful. But they're like 0.1% of maybe all of the people that ever watch any of these YouTube videos, hopefully. Because the 99.9% of the other people, they don't care. They don't care. They have their own stuff going on. People worry about what their people around them think of them and how they look. And I heard this too. You know why people are not worried about you and what you're thinking? Is because they're worried about you noticing them and what you're thinking about them. Just this mere effect. Like, I'm so concerned about what other people think of me. They're in the exact same boat. They're not going to notice you because they're so worried about what you think of them. Nobody notices because they're too scared. And I'm scared too. I'm scared all the time. I think I had this thought. I told this to my mom one time. I was like, Mom, what's your big motivator? And I'm ashamed to admit that I can't really even remember her answer. I think that just goes back to me not caring. But I figured out what mine was, and I think this is what is really a shame about the human condition. Not everyone, but I know a large percentage of people's biggest motivators is fear. And I wish it wasn't. I wish I was motivated by living in the gain, by acknowledging how awesome everything is, how awesome I have it, and not being scared about learning something new. I'm gonna really try to stop even saying fail or failing. If you, the only time you really fail is when you stop getting back up again. Like, that's all life is. It's just like doing something didn't work, and then doing something else. I think Einstein was the one who said the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result, or something to that effect. Somebody else said those people that are the smartest are the ones that can adapt the quickest to change. That's it. That's all you're doing. That's all life is you just new circumstances arrive and you adapt, and the faster you adapt to those circumstances, the more likely you are to have more success, and then the more likely you are to procreate. And if that, somewhere in there, hopefully you're rating the story so that it's meaningful to you, because really we are just on this little planet that we all enter it and we all go out the same way. So, but that's, although I did have this thought, this is kind of cool. Recently I learned about this. There's this concept, there's a whole society of people that are working diligently to never die. And that just kind of blows my mind. But in the same regard, it's like, if you never know death, do you ever get the full life experience? So, I don't know. I mean, also, do you ever really die? Because, I mean, basically, as long as you don't embalm yourself and put yourself in concrete, just, ashify and you go up your little particles and your little black soot and you go right back into the environment, and then you get uptaken by microbes and they eat you and they metabolize you, and then pretty soon you're a butterfly. And you know what I mean? Like, you never, like, we've lived for however long Earth has sustained life and gone through that, those particle processes, those organic molecules, billion years. I mean, you've been alive for a billion years, if you think about it that way. So, all right, that's 20 minutes. That's my journal for the day.